Hi guys, this is ADC again. Today we're going to talk about the Spirits of Winter patch, the Elves patch released today by Fearr. So we have a lot to talk and we will dive into it with no further ado. So, first of all, Fearr the Ancient. Fearr is the Zahal of the situation. He received a buff and also a restyle. He was the first hero to be released. Now is the one of the two heroes in the whole arena to have this crazy combination of dices, single dices for each skill, so the most flexible skill set ever. This first blue dice, Frostbite 60 and plus 30 for each Ice Elf ally. These white cross ones are I will consider them the Ice Elves, even if they are not a guild, but so for the white cross ally, that's a pretty high frostbite count that can go skyrocket to 720. That's crazy, of course. Really go crazy with this miracle all blues roll. Second skill, this yellow, Icy Strength plus 150, and then single red, Icy Heat 300, and this yellow dice becoming swords, 150 of strength. So, he is a berserker, of course. He's an icy, multi-heavy hitter with a passive nature. So, as his roles are not stated here, and for good reason, his output greatly shifts with your opponent's performance. So he has not an stable output, but everything will depend on your opponent, and also he has so many combination of dices that will be too much to go through every one of them. So his damage greatly shifts between 2100 and 2600. Of course, he synergizes with Ice Elves. Everyone, Cochrane, we will talk about him later. Ursid, Gakusha for riposte, of course, Hook Armada. Okay, he is vulnerable to Smite, vulnerable to Terran and Frostbite, and we will talk about this in a moment. Swords are detrimental, of course. So, as for my personal taste, I'm not so excited about Fearr, just because, as you know, I like really stable heroes. I like heroes that you can predict how they will behave, and Fearr is not one of them. He will behave as he wants. Every role is is different, and also he has this passive nature that greatly depends on your opponent's performance. So he's somewhat unpredictable, and he could be extremely powerful and also extremely weak depending on the situation, and also he is really vulnerable to Frostbite. And keeping this in mind, Terror is not a metagame worthy skill right now, but Frostbite now it is definitely. So you will see a lot of Frostbite in the metagame, and you better keep that in mind and consider this when you build a team. So Fearr is really weak against Frostbite, and also he is somewhat unpredictable and unreliable, maybe. Of course, he is really flexible and a lot of fun to play with. Just like I will say many times in this video, simply Fearr is not strong enough compared to other Ice Elves that are really power heroes and top class heroes for the Master League. So Fearr, I don't think we will see him in the metagame soon, but he will be a nice addition to mono Ice Elves decks if you want a touch of, if you expect a lot of maybe multi-activators, and also if you want to play with a trump card, a crazy card that no one expects. But he is just not strong as other heroes that we will see in a minute. So I like him. I'm not so excited about him. He was overall a great buff and restyle, but he's not a metagame worthy card in my humble opinion right now. And the primary reason for this is that some of his companions are just really strong. So that's crazy. But so Fearr here, I loved Fearr before, I love her now. Fearr is a really good hero. She gains for this pack just this dodge and also a change of trigger. Now is the red one, the red to trigger a sword and not the blue anymore. She is a great hero. I will not go through them all her roles, but she is good. She's really flexible. She has this double nature as a berserker and a heavy hitter. She has this dodge. She has a lot of crazy rolls with the yellows, maybe yellows and swords to go full berserk. I still think the best berserker in the game, the best berserker is Envy, but Ayer is really good, and also she will be really good in a nice elf environment if you expect a lot of multi-hitter. So she will be the multi-hitter counter for this guild. She is really strong, and also with the buff from Ursid, she can skyrocket to incredible amount of output. As you can see, there are some crazy rolls with 5,000 damage, 3,000 damage, but she will be around maybe 2,200 on average with 1 or 2 dodges. So she is not a crazy output, but she is a good hero, a reliable one. She can either go full berserk or not. She has this dodge in the second position. That's really a good position, tactical position to play with. She's versatile. She can be played in defense and also in attack. So she is good. I like her. She's not, of course, a metagame definer nor changer. She will be played as a trump card or as a counter card if multi-hitter will be something to deal with in the metagame, and you are playing elves. Then Ayer will be one of your choices. Otherwise, you will go for other heroes, but keep in mind, Ayer is there. She is a really good berserker. She is good. So, that King Hirimnir. I cannot pronounce King Hirimnir name very well. I have to call just, I will call him just the King. So, the King here is a strange hero. He had, before this patch, he had this All Ice 1 buff that Eric removed, and for the good, I guess, All Ice 1 with the new Ice Elves mechanics and also the new releases would have been too much, I guess. All Ice would be too strong with a single dice, so Eric decided to eliminate this All Ice and instead give him this crazy new buff, All Stench 10, 20 if undead. So let's talk about this buff, since it is the key feature of this hero. So All Stench is a great idea. I love this idea. 10 is a really low value. 20 is a good value after all. So that is to keep in mind. King Hrimnir is not so much a nice elf as an undead. He will bring a new interesting mechanics to the undeads. I don't think undeads will be viable in the metagame right now, but when and if they will be viable in the metagame, King Hrimnir will be a nice addition to them. He will give a nice touch of anti-meta to the undead environment, so he's really good. This All Stench 10 is not so good for the Ice Elves or for any other hero, so you want to play him in an undead environment, or you want to go full red and blues. So he is really a peculiar hero, since his output can be incredible with all red and blues. He has these crazy rolls here, 3 crazy rolls, 3,300, 2,800, and this Ultra Double Rainbow with 2,600. That's really good. Of course, he is a pure attacker because of this powerful icy hit here. That's 600 in attack and just 400 if he defends. So he's not a good defender. He's an attacker after all, a good one also. And he has this powerful nature as a stencher. Yeah, he has this bad smell, so he's good against sword users. So he's an interesting hero, not so reliable one. I'm not so excited about him in general, because he is not so reliable. He's really blue dependent. If you don't roll at least 2 blues, he will lose the game. So he's good, but he is a tiny buffer for the IZ. It is a good buffer, an interesting one for the undead though. So Yeah, you have to consider King Hrimnir if you want a trump card, if you want a card to play with that no one expects in the metagame. You will play with him. I will not put him in my team, in my Ice Elf team, just because I don't trust him so much. He's a pure attacker, so he's not flexible with this style, and also he is really blue dependent, and this buff is not so useful in a nice deck, in an Ice Elves deck. So he's good. He will be played with the undeads, and maybe in the future we will see him if the metagame shifts towards swords. Maybe he will be a nice addition to Ice Elves teams as well. So he has potentially huge damage output with very specific roles. I will add. Single-handedly turns the undead race into a powerful anti-strength meta squad. That's really his core feature. High roll flexibility, is very flexible. It's just one roll away to be like King Himrir. Cons, his damage drops exponentially when defending. Blue reliant, and Stench is completely irrelevant to non-strength hero, and also I will add Stench is completely irrelevant if 10 is the value. So that's not so good, but just consider King Hrimnir. It could be a nice trump card. I don't think he's a metagame worthy card right now, but we will see. And now yes, that's him, Cochrane. Cochrane is the best hero of this patch, in my humble opinion. He is fantastic. It's the sole responsible for the new era of Ice Elf teams, I think. So let's dive into it. This first skill, All Frostbite 50, is the skill everyone is talking about right now. So Eric decided to remove the Blizzard mechanics that was before a type of a style of play of the Ice Elves, and instead he introduced this Frostbite here. So let me explain why Frostbite is so much better than Blizzard. So we will not miss Blizzard for sure. Blizzard was just a shield, a weak shield, because it didn't synergize with dodges, and also it was not enough to pump the ice count. Just one attack, and then you have one ice count, but not so useful. And also it was not synergic with Berserker and with heals. A lot of Ice Elves have Berserker abilities and Berserker natures, and of course Berserker don't go well with the shields. And also Lady Ylith is a healer, so she will not benefit from the shields, and so it was not good. Frostbite is so much better. You can think, just looking at Cochrane like this without further analysis, you can think Frostbite 50. This 50 value is too low, but let me explain with you why 50 is not low at all. The real strength of Frostbite is not is output, is damage, this 50 part, but is the ice that Frostbite leaves behind every activation your opponent do. So Frostbite is not at all like Thorn anymore. It was like Thorn it was just another version of Thorn when it was released, but right now Frostbite is really something else. It's the core ability of the Ice Elves, and single-handedly can change the entire match. So this Frostbite 50 is more than enough. It's really good. Also with this yellow trigger, triggers a sword, so that's really good. So every hero, especially Lady Beanle, Lady Ylith, and Leliz, and Winata, and maybe others, Christocat and other, we will talk about them later, really benefit from this Frostbite 50. This is an invaluable buff. You don't have to go full buffer here with 4 reds and 2 yellows. That just because, as I said, the real strength of Frostbite is not his damage output, so it's not 50 or 100. That does not care. I don't care about it. I just care about these ice signals. So that's what I'm talking about. Second skill, really flexible one, blue, single blue, sword trigger and icy hit 300, and then this powerful icy hit 500 and strength plus 100. So let's take a look at his perfect rolls, just because he has an incredible output for a buffer. He is really just a tiny, just not so strong as a standalone, but he's almost there. So Ultra Double Rainbow here, 2500. Yeah, Cold Hardened 2500, 3000 here. Yeah, of course, those are really strange rolls. But this Heart of Winter to 2300, 2500 again. So a lot of rolls will be at around 2500, 2400 if you roll a sword too much. So of course, yes, he is somewhat blue reliant. Of course, if you don't roll two blues, you will lose a lot of output. But he is overall a really powerful buffer, and just maybe the strongest buffer for output that we saw in quite a while. So he's really good. As for his pros, he brings a lot to the table for ice decks. Of course, he brings everything to the table for ice decks, and he has really high damage output for a buffer. He is somewhat vulnerable to smite and backstab, and somewhat blue reliant, as I said, but he is really the king of this patch. I think the hero I'm most excited by from this patch is the sole responsible for the new Ice Elves era. I think Ice Elves decks will be viable in the metagame. I will talk about that in the end of the video, but Cockram is the main responsible for that. He is powerful. You want to play him, he synergizes with everything, with Akusha, with Hook Armada, with Icarasti, of course, with Ice users, with Ursid, why not? So it is the pillar of every ice deck, every one of them. So if you play an ice deck, you will play Cockram for sure. There's nothing to say about them. At least you have to recognize him. This Cockram is the strongest Ice Elf, all things considered. Not for his output, but for his potential and for his importance in the metagame. So really good. I love him. Also great artwork that count for something. Ursid here. So Ursid is a really strange hero. All Berserk 15 with single dice. So he had All Berserk 30 with two dices. So Eric splitted his buff to, and that's really a great thing. Ursid now is very flexible. This icy hit, just look at that. Icy hit 750. That's crazy. That's a really crazy icy hit. And then rage 120. Of course, this rage can come very later in the game, but he's good. So he has this double nature, rage and berserk, like some heroes I like Wacky Wack, for example. So Ursi is the beating heart of the whole berserker class. Of course, he's a pretty menacing heavy hitter as well. So about his rolls. Some rolls are good, 205, 5,000, so 2,500, yeah, 2,400. Of course, he is somewhat, he's really dependent, as every berserk is, to your opponent's performance. If your opponent plays a lot of multi-hitter, then Ursid is your guy. Otherwise, is not so strong. So. So, invaluable Berserker buff, of course, great snowballing potential. Yeah, vulnerable to Splash Blade and Smite, of course, dodge can soak up a good deal for his damage. Yeah, he is really weak against dodges for this ice hit here. Just, so let me say, Ursid is a good card. I don't think he's metagame worthy material, just for one reason. You don't need an entire team to be Berserker. You don't need that. You just need one Berserker in the team if there are a lot of multi-hitter, or maybe two if every deck is a multi-hitter deck. So Ursid will be played only if multi-hitter are the vast majority of the decks in the metagame. Otherwise, you will just need in your Ice Elf deck, you will just need Ire and you will be fine. So Ursid will be played just in specific moment. He is not a metagame card right from the start. He will be maybe one if a lot of multi-hitter will come back in the meta game, but right now Ursid, I don't see Ursid as a metagame worthy material. He is not so strong with his output. Cochrane is so much powerful than him, and so much more important. So Ursid is good, but it is not so useful in the metagame right now. Maybe in the future. He's good. He's this fucking polar bear. I like him. But yeah, All Berserk 15 is good. Not so good to be played in the Master League right now. Ulven. Ulven is the hero I am least excited for this patch. This wolf guy here has this Rage 100. He has this strange style, like a bit like just I don't remember the name. It was stated here some. No, it was not stated. Yeah, he is somewhat a strange rager, just like Thoran. Yeah, of course, Thoran, the regent. He's a rage guy without sword triggers. He has this rage 100. That's a good one. This 2 icy hit 200 and riposte 1, and this icy hit 500. So I don't think he's so good. Of course, he has some really strong rolls. This, just look at these rolls: 3,000, 3,200, 600. So he has a lot of output, but he is really easy to counter. He's vulnerable to smite, to spellbreaker. Also, heroes with a lot of dodges can soak up a good part of his performance. Also, heroes like I don't know, maybe just let me think. Yeah, with Scarab can also be detrimental. So he is good. Of course, he has a lot of good rolls. I guess is not my style of hero. Is not bad at all. Just keep that in mind. Of course, it is a riposte hero. Every riposte hero in the entire game has to be carefully matched. So he's not a standalone. He's not a guy you will throw in the arena without thinking. So he's pretty good, but a specific hero. I will not play him right now. I think there are better elves here. So yeah, it's good, but it is a riposte hero, a strong riposte hero. I will say, but as every riposte hero, is not so good in the metagame since you cannot really predict his performance. His performance entirely depends on your opponent. So yeah, it's kind of not my style. But it is good. Of course, it is really way better than before. So it is playable, but not so good. Of course, it will be incredible with the Ursid buff. Of course, if this guy has maybe Berserk 45 or 30, yeah, Yulwen will be great. Of course, Rage plus Berserker for the from the first skill. It's something to be it's a force to be reckoned with. So just keeping that in mind. If you want to play Ursid, maybe Yulwen is your guy, just because he synergizes so much with Ursid. Then, okay, that's the second hero I'm really excited about this patch, Lady Elite. Lady Elite was already a metagame card. And why? Because she was the only all purifier in the game for except for the PT, but that mage is only for nods guys. So Lady Elite was the only and is the only purifier for every other hero, regardless of the guild. So she has a really good role in the game. She counters guys like or girls like Hate, like Amida Raxar, like Powder. So she is good against Hook and Armada. She is good against minus damage, of course, and every other debuff so she was very useful. She had this problem that her output entirely depended on blue dice. So if she didn't roll blue, she would lose all the time, and she had this blizzard that was not so useful. So now Eric removed her blizzard. Now she has this powerful Icy Shock 500 that greatly synergizes with Frostbite if she is a defender. Of course, Lady Elite is a pure defender. I don't think I have to say that. This All Purify is now All Purify 1 and not All Purify 2 anymore, and that's good. All Purify 2 was maybe too much. All Purify 2 was too much because every strategy based on minus damage and powder was completely annihilated by All Purify 2. Now you have to trigger 2 times the yellow if you want to purify 2 times. That's pretty good. I think it's just fair. If this purify was 2 even after her buff, it would be too much. So I'm fine with that. And now finally she hits with these yellow dice, also with hit 400. If this hit was an icy hit, that would be too much, but it would be really the strongest defender in the game if this hit was an icy hit. And then the icy heal to 250. That's a good heal, one of the most incredible heals, cost efficiency, high cost efficiency, very good. So about her output, 2,400, 2,700, 2,400, 2,400. So around 2,400 if you roll at least 2 blues. Otherwise, 2,100 maybe with a lot of purify. So she's really good. I'm really excited about her because of her incredible role as a supporter. She's really good in ice decks. She synergizes with the other ice heroes. She brings cohesion, and she brings a nice I can't find the word, a nice addition to the ice mechanics. So she's the pillar with the Cochrane of ice decks, ice teams, because she is somewhat she invulnerable to powder and other things. So she will be invaluable in your ice decks. She's a pure defender. She is good to have one of them in the team. So Lady Elite is the second hero I'm really excited about this patch. She is very good. I think she is a metagame worthy card right from the start. I encountered her in ranked games in the Master League right from this afternoon. So she is good. She was good before, even though she was unreliable. Now she's reliable. So you had to love this girl. She is really good. The special release for this patch is Cristocat. Cristocat is Jesus Christ incarnated in a big ice cat, maybe. So evasive, icy, multi-heavy hitter is a really interesting and particular hero. The most peculiar hero in this patch, I guess. He is a beast, not an ice elf, but she's ice elf's pet, maybe. So he has this Frostbite 120 for a single for a red and yellow dice. That's really great. This Frostbite count is great. Is really very strong. He can set up the game with 2 reds and 2 yellows, 240 of Frostbite right from the start. He is really good. So that's a really great start. Also, this single 2 reds and a single blue, icy hit 500 and dodge 2. This skill is powerful. You will activate it 1 time, 2 times. To activate it 2 times, you have to go full 4 reds and 2 blues. That's pretty uncommon, but he is very good. 2 dodges in the second position, very tactical position for dodges. Also, this icy hit will strongly benefit from this Frostbite count here, and also for Cochrane's buff. So very good. And this third skill, 2 reds, icy strength plus 100, and all reds become swords. That's great. Cristocat is a really versatile hero. Really good, one of the best of this patch. Maybe the third card I'm excited for this patch is really good. You have to buy this cat. As for his rolls, as you can see, assuming Frostbite activates 4 times, of course. 4 reds, 2 blues, 2100 but with 4 dodges. Ultra Double Rainbow, 2300 with 2 dodges. Blizzard Assault, 2 dodges. So he has, he's not so great with his output, but he has a lot of dodges, and also depending on your opponent's performance, he has a lot of passive potential with this Frostbite. So if your opponent is a multi-activator, Crystocad will annihilate him. So he's good, high potential, strong evasive traits, overall consistent, and very consistent since this skill turns all reds into swords. Somewhat vulnerable, yeah, he's really vulnerable to backstab, in particular because of all his swords, and also smite. Heavy Shocker bypasses defenses, and also I will add that a nice dodge can soak up a lot of this icy heat power. So Crystocad is not a perfect hero. I don't know if it will be metagame worthy card right now, but he's very good. I will play him. I encounter a guy using him before, and he wins. So he won. Sorry. So Crystocad is good. I think it's a nice addition. Really good one. Also, particular style with this dodge. So very good. So I have other 2 heroes here. Strange because the patch is over, but I have to talk about 2 heroes again. Lady Bean and Lelise. Of course, Lady Bean and Lelise are the true core of this patch, and you can say, what? They are not included in the patch. They were the core of the preview cycle of December. Yeah, of course. But Lelise and Lady Bean are the hero that most of all synergizes with Cochrane. Yeah, no, this is yeah, with Cochrane. So you have to play Lelise and Lady Bean in your deck. I already reviewed Lady Bean and Lelise in their own video. You can find them in the Focus On section of the channel. But just keep in mind, these 2 girls here are really important to this patch, just because they synergize with Cochrane so much. Lady Bean is incredible. She has all icy, as you can see, all icy skills, so she synergizes with this Frostbite so much, and also Lelise with this Icy Spellbreaker and Icy Heat. So very good. So that's for this patch. As for the overall review of this patch, I think it was a nice patch, probably the strongest one right now, just for 2 cards. So Cochrane and Cochrane and Lady Elite were the core of this patch. Those 2 cards alone brings a lot to the table. They are metagame card right from the start, and they will change the metagame. I can bet on it. So this patch is good. A lot of mediocre heroes. So Yulven is not so good. Ursid is not so good. Maybe Crystocad is good, but not incredible. Ayer is good, but situational. King Grim. So at a first glance, you can say, well, that's not so great, this patch, since only 2 heroes are good. No, it's not like that. Those 2 heroes are not good. They are fine. They are really good. So they changed the metagame, and also with the addition of Lelise and Lady Bean, the Ice Elves now I think will be a presence, really consistent presence in the top Master League. So I'm really excited about them. The metagame is changing, and right now I'm eager to start playing. So expect some gameplay in the next weeks, maybe next days, I hope. So this video is maybe 7 hours long right now, so I will end here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this patch. So let me know if you disagree with me or you agree with me. And as for tonight, ADC is out.